Hi, Will here, founder of organic search agency Buried. Today I'm going to talk you through our framework for prompt research, and I think this is important because prompt research is really the first step in understanding AI search visibility, but it's also the most common place that a brand will get stuck. And the reason brands are getting stuck is because prompt research is really difficult. If we compare prompt research to keyword research, there are some really big differences. The first one is that when you do keyword research, the data is made publicly available from Google by location. So you get a really clear understanding of what you should be focusing on and prioritization. Whereas in the prompt world, the data is universally unavailable from all the AI search platforms. With Google, the keywords are primarily 1 to 5 words. We've been conditioned to using short form searches because that's what gives us the most accurate results. Whereas in ChatGPT and other LLMs, there's no limit to the lengths of the prompts which we put in, and we're using more long form conversational language, which leads to a much wider variation in the different types of prompts and combinations we could use. An example of this with Google might be best project management software. If we were to put the same sort of search into an LLM, someone might say, what is the best project management software for a 10-person UK agency that handles client work, needs time tracking, and integrates with Slack? So it's definitely much more difficult than keyword research, that's for sure. But why is prompt research important? I mentioned right at the start of this video that it's the first step in tracking and understanding the impact of AI search, ChatGPT, Gemini, etc. And we need to understand really what people are searching for, and from this be able to set up our tracking and conduct analysis against those topics to see what our visibility is. Your prompt research might be the first step in an audit you might be undertaking, or it might be the first step in just trying to set up some tracking and reporting. Kind of wherever you are, the framework that I'm about to talk through should be relevant to putting some structure and logic behind identifying what prompts to track. The best way to approach prompt research, so let's talk about tools. Most GEO tools provide prompt volume estimations and prompt suggestions based on their own first-party data. I won't go into how first-party data works for each of the platforms, it's another conversation, but the results really vary significantly across platforms when you conduct prompt research within them. We use 2 different GEO tools at Buried, Peak and Athena. I've put in the exact same prompts into Peak and Athena here, and the results are very different. So in Peak, we're getting a 5 out of 5 volume estimation for how to audit SOC2. In Athena, we're getting a 100 for exactly the same prompt. 100 is the baseline volume that Athena will give you, so the minimum. So we're getting results here at opposite ends of the spectrum across the 2 tools for exactly the same prompt. What this tells us is that the GEO prompt volumes that the tools give us should be used as an indicator only and should be used to support your wider prompt research framework, but not direct it. So now to kind of talk through our framework, which is 4 steps. And the first one is to aggregate prompt ideas from different sources. The second one is to use GEO tools to estimate prompt volumes and get suggestions. The third is to map prompts against your funnel. And the fourth is to add prompts into your GEO reporting tool. Step 1, aggregated prompt research. So we use multiple different sources to create an initial prompt list. The first source that we use is Google Search Console, where we take the what, why, where, and how phrases from Google Search Console to get a starting point, really, and understand what our audience is searching around our brand. More conversational queries that you're likely to get in GPT or other LLMs. The second one is Google Predictive Text. And here we are entering our topics and our themes and really expanding on those initial questions to create our list. The third one is keyword research and tracking and looking at our existing keywords and integrating that into our initial prompts list. So at this point, we're going to have a big list of prompts. And the next step for us is to use tools to estimate the prompt volumes. To do this, we upload the CSV of all the potential prompts into our GEO tracking tool, and we actually use multiple tools for this so we can compare the difference in volume estimations. The two screenshots here, you can see they're the same prompts lists, and what we can see is a correlation really between some of the higher volume prompts and a correlation between some of the lower volume prompts. So the high volume example we've got here is where to get ISO 27001 audit, and the low volume one is how to prepare for ISO 27001 audit. Using the prompt volume estimations and getting this correlation helps you to prioritize really what prompts you should track. The truth is prompt tracking is really, really expensive, and you need to have some kind of prioritization, or it's going to cost you thousands per month if you want to cover every single variant. The prompt suggestions that you can get out of tools are also very, very useful. What we would suggest is let the tools give you suggestions, but never let the tools lead your prompt research. Your prompt research should always be based on your base logic that you've created and your aggregated prompt research that you consider important from different sources. And then you should leverage the tools to give you prompt suggestions to fill some of the gaps and expand on some of the topics where you're perhaps missing some options to track. The third point in the framework is to map prompts against the funnel. So based on your original prompt suggestions and the estimated volumes you have, split out the core themes that you want to track. In this instance that we've been looking at, there's 3 different types of compliance audit. The first one is SOC2, the second one is GDPR, and the third one is ISO 27001. At this stage, you can map prompts to 2 stages of the funnel, and we tend to aim for 10 to 20 prompts per theme. The 2 stages in the funnel that we use are top funnel and mid funnel. And top funnel is generally containing your traffic generating prompts where you're likely to get citations. So how does ISO 27001 certification impact trust in SaaS companies? You're more likely here to get a citation of an article that you've written where the AI is aggregating different sources and you could be included there. You're likely to get a traffic generating prompt there, and it's more top of the funnel. The other kind of area of the funnel that we tend to categorize is mid funnel, where someone will be asking something like best ISO 27001 auditors, and at this stage you're more likely to get a brand mention than you are a prompt. At some stage in the future, we might move to tracking kind of bottom funnel prompts or further down in the funnel anyway, depending on how functionality within GPT and other LLMs change. But we find this gives a nice way to cover different areas of the funnel by topic and by theme in a nice logical way. So once you've got all of your prompt final selection, you've got your prompts split by theme, and you've got them split by stage in the funnel, what you can do is then put your prompts into your GEO tool. Again, you can group your prompts within most tools to allow you to be able to filter and organize your reporting in a cleaner way. And you can also add tags most of the time, so we tend to tag the prompts by stage in the funnel. So that's the prompt tracking framework. It's fairly simple, but it helps to act as a bit of a guide when it comes to the minefield of prompt tracking. Obviously, there's an infinite number of combinations of prompts and phrases you can track, and it can be a bit disorientating to start with. We expect this prompt tracking framework to change a lot as time goes on, as the tools develop and as the industry develops. So this is really a V1 at the moment. And our advice is it doesn't need to be perfect first time. We always say just start tracking as a first point. And you can always go back and edit and tweak the prompts that you're tracking over time. Another bit of advice that we give is to really prioritize. As I mentioned, prompt tracking is really expensive. So it's going to cost you a bomb if you want to track absolutely every single thing you can think of, or every single topic. So it's really a case of prioritization to begin with. And the tools are going to develop so much in the next kind of 12 months. And the sophistication of the volumes that they give at the moment, we showed some examples earlier on. There's a really big variance between what different prompts say about about volumes. So yeah, this is an area which is going to grow in sophistication a lot, and in 12 months' time, we might have solutions that are kind of much more accurate and make this process a lot easier. So yeah, just to close up, the first step we always recommend is to start tracking. Hopefully, the information in this in this video has helped with that first step a bit. We've got lots of useful resources on our website, and if you want to discuss anything in this video or any of the resources on our website, then please do get in touch.